Good morning, everyone. Today's Friday, April the 12th. My name is Anne-Marie Band, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. We're starting with gold because it is just continuing to ramp right up. I mean, screaming higher. The big thing that's different, and let me just, I'm going to pop over to TradingView simply because I can't seem to get the dollar there on TrendSpider, and so let's see it on the charts. The dollar is holding really very, very well. It's just pretty stinking amazing, actually, that it's holding in this pocket while gold is screaming to the north. Normally, you would see the dollar collapse, but it has got a clear floor at this 101 area. Today, I'm talking with the folks at Complete Intelligence. I'll put a link up there so that you guys can see that interview when it does come out. But we're going to be talking a little bit about this. Larry McDonald is going to be there, and Albert, what is Albert's last name? Markov? Dang it. But in the event, I'll get it to you guys, and we can go through that. But that being said, these things moving at a clip. The big thing is when it gets very far away from its tight moving average in this kind of run-up, it does impart the likelihood of a pullback. And so I believe that this is in a topping formation, but I can't be sure anymore. I was very sure a week ago. Now, not so much, obviously. And so what I want to do is put an alert here on our pattern to see if it comes into that space. All right, let's take a look quickly at oil. You know, a lot of geopolitical noise, but at the end of the day, we're still caught in a range. So what does this tell us, right? Our new range resistance has actually become support, right? So as we take a look at this price action, all the things that we thought would give us breakouts that broke down are now the range support actions coming into about 83. This is actually my target zone. Range resistance is now at around 87, and we can see 90 up there in the distance, okay? Very key support zone right down here at this 83.20. I want to put an alert now at the 84.70 to make sure that we are well aware of what's going on from this bounce formation, as well as an alert up here that tells us, all right, let's see if we actually have a runaway train. I don't think that we do. Okay, let's get to the ES. You can see the levels, they're marked, they remain the same. We have this neutral formation. Don't ask me why I didn't turn this to orange yesterday, or sorry, cantaloupe. Okay, take a look at what happened at this 51.71 when we came into the zone and we just bounced. So this is clearly going to be a line in the sand that reminds us, last time we were here, we had ourselves a pretty solid bounce. And listen, you want to talk about shorts getting caught flat-footed yesterday? Absolutely. But look at where we are in the pre-market. Look where we are. Key zone, 52.15, absolutely. If we break this region, and I am going to say 52.14, we'll see how many times it breaks that area. But if it loses that zone, look at what's happening here, folks. Still the lower highs. Now, we are going to break. Here's what's in play right now. Actually, no, we're going to use this one. We're just going to change its direction. Oh, isn't that interesting? Look at that. Never even knew we could do that. All right, remove this segment. Okay, so here we are, top of the range. I'm going to move this a little bit more so we can catch the wicks. Remember, I don't trade the trend lines. I trade the horizontal lines where we have old support, new resistance. This line at 52.70 is going to be critical mass for the buyers. If they want to hold, they're going to have to get up and stay up over this zone. I'm not sure they can do it. My thought is if the shorts get caught flat-footed again, we'll run it all the way up to there. Where might they get caught short flat-footed? We break below 52.14 and then we recover. Okay? That really is what we're looking at, with 5,300 being something that feels really far away at this juncture. All right, let's take a look at the NQ. Now, a couple of these went off. Take a look at this. Yesterday, when I was doing this video, I went, yeah, let's just put up that 55.15, whatever. I think we were looking at the weekly chart. And I went, you know, maybe range resistance will be 55.15. Literally, folks, I had no stinking clue that it would absolutely do that. It was an absolute shocker to me. Total shocker. But it did it, and it collapsed. Now, I'll tell you what happened to me. Because it was such a shocker, and I'm going to move this up right here because that's the critical zone, 18,407. Watch it. The pre-market low is all the way down here, right? At 384. I'm going to put heavy congestion at 387. Let me make that a round number there. And then I'm going to put another alert there. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave this one. When we got up to here yesterday, I began to look at these wicks for shorts. And I got to tell you, I got smoked. Smoked. Trying to short that because my brain was saying, no way. But here's what I want you to remember. When I did my study review yesterday afternoon, which I do every time I trade, sometimes I journal when I've made really bad mistakes. Sometimes I will just do study notes. People might call that journaling too, but here's the storyboard. For me, what I failed to realize that what began in motion that kept running at a clip was the shorts getting caught flat-footed and getting run all the way right back up to resistance. The takeaway was my price action was spot on in terms of, hey, listen, bouncing off of this 18,000 number, and then that's the next resistance zone. I thought, hey, look at all this. But as soon as it came up over that top, I should have said, you know what? Time to go long, cut out my short, take the losses wherever they were, and turn around and move to the north. And I got to tell you, that's a mistake that I wish I had not made. Now, on the way back down off of the highs, I did size up and recover a fair bit, but I went through a bit of savage pain. So what I want to remind you of today, as I tell you that story, is the key break levels are very important. And being up over this 400 zone, this 387 zone, all the buyers that got caught buying these edges and covered up here are going to say, wait a second, old resistance, new support. They're going to try to buy off of this zone. So let's be cognizant of that and realize that even though it might look like something that says, hey, I've got myself a shorting formation, if it breaks down, these higher lows are telling the tale. And this momentum event. Now, notice it's close to the top. It is. It's close to the top. So we'll watch for a buy the dip formation that will allow us to move to the upside. Let's take a look at the YM. The YM, I actually transferred over to the YM once the NQ smoked me the way that it did. And I had some great shorts up at this top end. Old support, new resistance. This is the weakest of the bunch. If you're looking for a place to short, here's your man. But the song remains the same. It's the bounce that creates the short, not the low of the line. Now, a lot of us, particularly some amazing traders on Top Step, will short these lows, but a lot of times they have great big size and they're looking at taking profit very, very quickly on these formations. My thought remains, listen, if it gets up over here, you take the short at the first pass, but if it holds, it's going to try and breach 39,000. Okay, so this one I would say is still neutral to bearish because the great big patterns are telling us that buyers are still below. And that's really what we have to focus on, right? Buyers are still below. And that's really the 650 number is a wee bit higher than our key support area at 38,427. That's going to be the next really nice bounce zone that we see off of this chart. All right, let's take a look at the RTY. Everybody's talking about rates and the like. What we can see is yesterday, take a look at how this thing comes into 2000 and just blazes upward. So what does it tell you? It tells you that traders are still thinking that rate cuts are coming, right? Because this is the most sensitive to rate cuts. And so they're going to buy the deep dips just like they did here, right? Momentum is underneath 50, and so it's still sell the bounce, and that bounce ought to be 2071, right? That is my thought. They're buying the dip, looking for value. Look at this. Both moving averages are right here. This is going to be a fantastic shorting zone. So that's why I've put an alert right there. Right now, it's kind of in the zombie zone. But this morning, we are holding higher lows. And so as long as they hold, we'll be in good shape. Let me put a little line right here at 2044. Let me remove that line from where it sits, because that's the heavy congestion event. That's going to be a support zone. If it breaks that line, I don't think that we ought to think about being long until it gets much, much lower. As a matter of fact, it probably, if we don't break high, and we don't break the high of yesterday, if we come down here, we're likely to break lower. All right, let's take a look at SPY. Yesterday afternoon, a case of the zoomies, right? 511. That's a pretty nice number. Okay, so 514, I'm going to put an alert there because I do believe that these guys are going to have some kind of pullback event. Notice they gapped up above the close of the prior day and are now down. But if we get up over 518, we are going to run some stops again. And that is going to turn into a big move to the upside. All right, levels remain the same. Where are my levels? Can't see them here. Let's go to weeklies. How bizarre. Let's see the properties here. I can't change them. A little glitchy right there, but that's okay, right? 517, I think I'm going to put 514 as the key support. Notice the momentum lines drifting a little bit on the weekly, but it's still saying buy the dip. Still telling us buy the dip. Look at the touch of the 8 on the weekly formation yesterday that just sent us high flying into the upshot and had every single short absolutely flat-footed. Same sort of thing potentially happening today. All right, lastly, we'll take a look at the Qs. We're going to see, look at this resistance at 445. I think this touched both into the close and yesterday, yes, right? This is pretty amazing. Came down here, tested this one early in the trading day, and now bouncing. We could stay sideways into this zone, but holy smokes, just what a run yesterday. My thought is, listen, 445.60, it's going to be a short. The stop for that is maybe 446.50, so let it run up. If it breaches 446, watch out, okay? So watch it fade from that formation and watch it come back down into 445, potentially 441, maybe even 439. Listen, Fridays have been bullish, right? They're pretty bullish. Let's see what Edgeful says about gap fills. No, let's talk about price action. Just red and green days by weekday. Friday, 55% green. And let's take a look at maybe what it is for 3 months. Yeah, Fridays are pretty green. All right, so there you have it. Good luck trading today, folks, and I'll see you on the platforms. Please remember, our Zoom this morning is at 9:30 because I have a really tight morning of and early afternoon of meetings back to back to back to back. All right, see you on the platforms.